Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving right into a fundamental truth of commerce, why some businesses absolutely thrive during economic downturns, while others seemingly crumble overnight.
You know, the secret doesn't always lie in having a wildly superior product or some genius marketing campaign. It actually often comes down to understanding that not all costs are created equal. Mastering your cost structure is quite literally a matter of business survival. So let's unpack exactly how that works together.
Section 1. The Basics of Business Costs. A bakery case study. Okay, to really see how money flows out the door, let's look at the economics of running a local bakery, assuming, of course, we can resist eating all the inventory. At the most basic level, anything a business pays out, whether that's for bags of flour, the electricity to run the ovens, or the wages for the staff, is considered a cost. If the business has to pay it to operate, it goes straight into the cost bucket. But how we categorize those costs, well, that changes everything.
Section 2. Fixed costs, unavoidable constants.
Think of fixed costs as the heavy, immovable foundation of your expenses. The absolutely crucial point here is that they are entirely time-related. They remain totally constant, meaning they do not change whether our bakery serves one single customer today or 1,000.
For our bakery, we're talking about those unavoidable baseline bills. You've got your monthly rent or mortgage for the storefront, insurance premiums, salaries for your permanent management staff, and the depreciation of those massive commercial ovens. Even if you don't bake a single loaf of bread, these bills are still showing up in the mail.
Section 3. Variable costs, fluctuating movers.
Now let's completely flip the script and look at the opposite end of the spectrum, the expenses you actually have direct control over. Unlike fixed costs, variable costs are volume-related. They rise and fall perfectly in sync with how busy the business actually is. They scale linearly with your output. So if the bakery decides to ramp up production and bake, say, 100 extra cakes this weekend, their spending on raw materials, your flour, sugar, milk, is going to proportionally increase. The exact same goes for the hourly wages paid to the extra bakers they bring in, the boxes used for packaging, and any shipping costs. And here is where the contrast gets super fascinating. Think about the unit economics for a second. While a fixed cost, like your monthly rent, actually gets cheaper per cake as you bake a higher volume of them, the variable cost of the ingredients for each individual cake stays exactly the same.
To make this instantly click, let's run a quick thought experiment. What happens when the ovens are completely shut off? We call this the zero output test.
Let's say our bakery has fixed costs of $900 a month. Even if absolutely zero cakes are baked and the front doors are locked tight, the business is still on the hook for that $900. It is completely definite and unavoidable in the short term. But on the flip side, because no cakes are being made, the variable costs instantly drop to $0. Zero flour used, zero sugar consumed, no hourly wages paid out. The variable costs completely retreat the exact moment production stops. Section 4. Total costs and the formula. When we bring these two opposing forces together, we really start to see the true financial health of the operation. Your total cost is simply your fixed costs plus your variable costs. It's a beautifully straightforward equation, but its real-world implications are massive.
Let's see how economies of scale actually play out in practice. If our variable cost is $15 per cake, baking 10 cakes gives us a total cost of $1,050. But as output ramps up to 100 cakes, our total costs rise to $2,400. Now the total spend goes up, sure, but the heavy burden of that $900 fixed cost, it's spread out much more efficiently across 100 cakes instead of just 10.
Section 5. Hitting the break-even point. All right, this brings us to our final and honestly most high-stakes concept. This is the literal dividing line between a business thriving or silently bleeding cash, the break-even point. Before a business can make a single dollar of net profit, it absolutely must sell enough units to completely neutralize its baseline fixed costs. Let's pinpoint that exact moment of crossover. If we sell our cakes for $35, at 20 cakes, our gross profit is only $400. We're still losing $500 against our fixed rent. But jump forward a bit. Right at exactly 45 cakes, the gross profit overtakes the fixed costs, pushing the bakery out of the red and into pure profitability. So how do we find that break-even point quickly? Businesses rely on a clever metric called the contribution margin. This tells you exactly how much of your sales proceeds are actually left over after covering the variable costs of a product. It shows you exactly how much leverage you have to pay down those fixed expenses. By walking through the math, our bakery owner sees the true reality of their business. Selling a $35 cake that costs $15 to make leaves $20. Divide that by the sales price, and you get a margin of just over 57%. That means 57 cents of every single dollar sold goes directly toward paying off the rent and eventually straight into their pocket as profit.
Understanding this delicate balance between fixed and variable elements, it isn't just dry, boring accounting. It's actually how you strategically control your entire operation. It dictates how you price your goods, how you assess the risk of your operating leverage, and how you decide whether to manufacture in-house or just outsource to a supplier.
Because at the end of the day, managing these unit economics is the absolute foundation of long-term commercial survival. High fixed costs can offer massive upside when sales are booming, but man, they are a heavy anchor during a downturn. Master your costs, and you master your business destiny.
So, I want to leave you with this question. Think about how operating leverage impacts your own endeavors. If you ran the zero output test on your business today, would your current cost structure keep you afloat or silently sink your ship? Consider what steps you could take right now to convert those rigid, heavy fixed costs into flexible, variable ones. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep focused on those margins.